Hello and welcome back to the Common Colt Podcast, a Colts podcast with real takes and no clickbait. I'm Josh Hudgens, joined by Dan Hertzler. Dan, how's it going?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Hey, we're moving into crunch time. We are almost 1 week away from the NFL draft, the night that's going to change the Colts for the next 3 to 5 years, man. I'm so excited. We're ready to go. Hey, there's some little buzz flying around the internet today. Our boy from Ohio State, CJ Stroud, got some pretty negative comments. Josh, you want to comment on this a little bit?
Yeah, I do, but real quick, I hope it's more like 10 to 15 years, not 3 to 5. Get that franchise quarterback. I'm wanting 10 Super Bowls or something. But listen, Brady Quinn on a CBS podcast interview came out and said there's multiple concerns about CJ Stroud. First, the highlight, and we'll go down by all three of these, but the first one, the biggest one that caught people's eyes was he apparently stood up the Manning family at the Manning Passing Academy. He told them the night before that he was going to be there, and then he just didn't show up. He ghosted them. And obviously the Manning family's kind of football royalty. They're the Mannings, and it's kind of a big deal, especially for a franchise quarterback wannabe to do that. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, here we are 1 week away. And this stuff is starting to come out. We're going to talk about it all kind of here in a second. And to me, man, I'm just feeling a little bit like, I don't know if you remember that the tackle that went to the Dolphins. And they had the gas mask and him smoking a bong or whatever all that was, and it was released right on draft day or right before that. Mm-hmm. Man, this is kind of feeling a little bit like this. Feels like almost kind of like there was a targeted kind of hit piece kind of job. And this one was the first one, obviously with the Colts and Manning and anything brings up there. And, so we're like kind of freaking out. What do we do with that? To me, I need to know more information. So I'm not selling it. I'm not buying it. I'm just sort of like, this is the week before the draft. I'm kind of saying it's not a big deal.
I will say the timing is interesting. And for the Colts, if he's going to stand anybody up or if there's going to be any sort of drama involved, who better than Peyton Manning? Because they know they got that connection there. They know they're going to get the truth on the situation if they're considering drafting Stroud. And I think if anybody's going to shoot him straight, it's going to be Peyton Manning. So that's good news for the Colts. I think they're going to figure this out and get to the bottom of it. Now, I think there's a little. I'm not going to raise the alarm hard, but I do think it is a little concerning. The reason being is Brady Quinn also went on to say, "Hey, look, this guy." Anytime I've been around him, he's a good guy. He said he's the most accurate passer in the draft. So it's not like he was on a total smear campaign, but he did bring this up. And he said, this is a little alarming. So it's not like he was just coming up with some vague, like, hey, this guy doesn't show up to meetings on time. Or so. Like he had a real example, which was, hey, he didn't show up. He ghosted the Mannings. I mean, that's specific enough for me to say, hey, this is a little concerning.
Yeah, but did he really ghost him? I mean, or is that just kind of what someone thinks happened, or did something happen last minute or miscommunication? I mean, there could be 1,000 different things, and again, it's just too close to the draft for me to get too worked up with that. I don't know. I'm just kind of half listening to all this kind of stuff as we get to the draft. I'm not too concerned.
I think. The good news, again, is Peyton Manning is involved and Colts are going to get the real story. Now, another thing that we've heard in the last several weeks is that the S2 test, which is a test that these quarterbacks take, I'm not going to get in the nitty-gritty of it, but to give a 30,000-foot view, it's pretty much a test. It doesn't measure IQ, but it measures like cognitive, how quick you can go through reads, how quick you can process things. For example, Brock Purdy was the highest scorer on this test last year. Yeah. Joe Burrow, Josh Allen were high scorers on this test. Yeah. Apparently, CJ Stroud, per reports, did poorly on this, did worse than Anthony Richardson and Bryce Young. Any cause for alarm or more smear campaign?
Yeah, again, it's just the timing of it that I think it is part of that smear campaign. But here's what I do think. And they used to have the Wonderlic Test, and that was kind of thrown around as not really that valuable for quarterbacks. And I think this test might actually be really important for quarterbacks. I just think that just means that, hey, maybe CJ Stroud isn't going to be someone that you just give him a lot of complex systems, a lot of complex ideas. Maybe he's just a quarterback that's just a lot more of just just go on instinct, read and react. I mean, again, we saw his last game when he played against Georgia, who had, great defense, bright lights. And this dude was maybe one of the best performances all season long of any quarterback. I mean, he was lights out. I'm going to take a lot more stock in that game than I am about this test. It might just mean that he's not going to be a guy that they just hand the entire playbook over to, and they just kind of move them in little more segments. I'm going to trust Shane Steichen. I'm going to trust his performance. It matters, but the timing of it, I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah, I'm not super worried about it either. It's just like a 40-yard dash for a wide receiver.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, if the guy runs a 4.3 40, if he's not finding a way to run good crisp routes and find a hole in the zone and catch the football, who cares? We're specializing in on one drill, or in this example, one test. Can the guy throw a football on time? Can he read a defense? And can he deliver the pass? If he could do all that stuff, draft the guy. Now, it's a test. It's one test. This guy's, Brady Quinn said it. He was an NFL quarterback, and a lot of other experts say it. He is the most accurate passer in the draft. And from what I've seen, he throws the best touch ball I've seen in the draft and in recent memory. The guy throws a beautiful touch ball. So I'm not too worried about this test. Now, one final thing, the last point I've read in the last week is that now Michael Lombardi, former NFL executive, he's saying that, quote unquote, CJ Stroud, interesting guy. When you talk around the league, you learn that this guy is not an easy guy to coach, and he just says he doesn't really believe a lot of what the coaches are saying, and it has to be proven to him. So, in my eyes, out of everything, my BS meter is high on this one. This is the exact example of, okay, let's just spew some bullcrap about a guy to, I guess, hurt his draft. Like, I don't know why they do this stuff.
Yeah, again, they're just looking for something. I mean, heard around the league, heard around, like from the equipment manager, with all this information, I'm not buying any of this. I think, again, the most important question I think we can ask here tonight, and I'm curious, what your thoughts on this. Who do you think actually leaked this information? Like, do you think, and I've heard this theory, and I kind of like it, that the Houston Texans are the one leaking all this information, talking about not taking quarterback, because they want the Colts to think they're going to have all these options at pick 4. Then they're going to take a quarterback. Someone's going to jump them at 3 and take their guy, and they're going to lose out on their guy. Like, who do you think's actually leaking this stuff? This is curious.
Yeah, that's a good point. I've actually heard this theory too, and it's possible. The truth is, we've had Schefter now in the last week or two saying, hey, the Colts could have all these options at number 4. Yeah. I mean, it is a little peculiar, I think you might say. Now, this Michael Lombardi, he's an ex-NFL executive for a reason. This guy's kind of a failed a lot of different places. I don't buy that. I do tend to, if there's anything I'm going to listen to or kind of want to, if I'm a Colts executive and dive into more, it is that Manning thing. They have the connection. It is weird for a franchise quarterback just to ghost NFL royalty or franchise players like Peyton Manning, Eli Manning without a good excuse. We don't know the truth. Maybe there was something said or something miscommunicated, but I think whether or not we get the truth as fans, the Colts will know. Probably already. They probably already know.
Yeah. So tell me that. So pick 4, CJ Stroud is there. How many seconds are going off the clock before you run that card up there to say CJ Stroud?
Mr. Irsay is running. I haven't seen that guy run in a long time, but I'm guessing he's tripping over the phone. He's throwing elbows. Ballard's saying his looks, his his whatever, and they're calling Goodell on speed dial to put CJ Stroud on. And I don't
100%, man. If he is there, they should not have more than 5 seconds before that clock has ticked off before they get that card up there. Yeah. All this stuff, again, it's just BS kind of smear campaign, and someone's leaking it, someone's talking about it, someone wants him to drop. And, hopefully it won't, but he's not going to drop. He's going to be a top pick.
Yeah, it is interesting. Guys, let us know what you think. Again, there's some things maybe the Colts should look into more of. I think they should do their diligence, and they will. But listen, people got to sell things. And unfortunately, they got to get clicks. And sometimes it's at the expense of another person, which is unfortunate. Yeah. But that's the nature of the beast and the business that is the NFL. So let us know what you think, guys. Go ahead and comment. If you could, subscribe. And until next time, thanks for watching the Common Colt Podcast.